What's up, nerds? Welcome back to Nerd Alert. I'm with Jimmy and James, and my name's Brandon, and we've got another edition of Throwdown Thursday for you. This week, we are going with Deathstroke versus the Winter Soldier.
Ooh.
And that's the reaction I was hoping for. Originally I think when I did this one way back in the day, I wanted to do Winter Soldier versus Jason Todd, but I just think Jason Todd's more angry than he is super skilled.
Yeah.
And Deathstroke was the one we decided to go with. And I just think with the popularity of both since then, this is a good one to jump back into and see how you think this would play out.
Yeah, Jason Todd, the man too angry to die.
He was so mad. He's just so mad.
I got to tell you, usually when you bring these up, like last week when we did Nightwing Daredevil, I have a huge favoritism towards Daredevil. So that obviously bleeds into my opinion. This one, I really don't favor one or the other. It really comes down to who would beat the other. And God, man, I legitimately don't know. I for some reason, Winter Soldier kind of jumps at me as like he would win just because he's that old and knowledgeable and skilled and has made it that far.
He's like, listen, youngster.
And it's like Deathstroke hasn't had an easy life. Like, okay, so I'll give it slight to Winter Soldier for no other reason other than he's aged and thus more experienced.
Yeah, I feel like this one gets really hard because they're so similar in the archetype they fit, and then it's like the assassin. I feel like I lean towards Bucky to some extent because he has a metal arm, so that's already an unfair advantage. But at the same time, it's like, again, he's been around for forever. He had years of military training and then years of Hydra training, so he knows how to kill people pretty easily. But then at the same time, Deathstroke has been shown in multiple scenarios to be incredibly smart and know how to get out of a sticky situation. So I feel like he's also not dumb enough to just end up in a bad situation and could probably hold his own for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of always lean towards Bucky, and then I'm like, but Deathstroke is ruthless. He has had some ruthless runs. He has been he's another one. He's a fucking trained murderer. But then you kind of go back to what James said, like, trained by Hydra, and he was a sleeper assassin, killing dignitaries and people of interest for decades, being put on ice and literally only knowing violence.
Yeah, and Deathstroke bullied a teenager for like 5 years.
Yeah. Well, that's something to think about too, because like the comic book version of Winter Soldier, like Bucky disappears as a teenager. Like he's taken from a pretty young state. Like he's much older in the movies when Hydra gets a hold of him and he becomes the Winter Soldier. Like he's probably like 10 years older than he was supposed to be in the comics. And so you've got both being trained from like a pretty young age to be like absolutely ruthless and brutal.
I would put it down to Bucky is my favorite Bucky. Slade Wilson isn't even my favorite Wilson. So
yeah, but I mean, yeah, but that was a joke about that character. Which
he's more popular than the character, so yeah.
That is true.
That's my reasoning.
Yeah,
right.
But that's
the way I like to look at it is that it's like one of them is highly skilled and chose to bully a teenager for like a solid decade, while the other one, was actually doing stuff.
That's fair. Like Deathstroke did spend a lot of his time as a grown adult just being mean to his kids, and then making that kid be mean to other kids.
Yeah, and then not to mention all the times you mess with Robin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll bring up my reasoning from last week where Nightwing could see. Winter Soldier has 2 eyes. He has 1.
Again, Winter Soldier has a metal freaking arm. That's like
if he had a robot eye versus a robot arm, maybe you'd have more of a chance
here. He doesn't have a robot eye. He's just nothing.
He's just got an eye patch.
Exactly.
Basically
So
a pirate.
he loses. He can't see dimension like the rest of us. So
Gets down to a point where it's like they're down to whatever they've just got. They've just got their hands, and Bucky just takes his metal arm off and starts
Just beats him with it.
I feel like that's what would happen
If he takes the metal arm and then pokes him in the one good eye with the metal
why would
arm.
he take it off though, James? Like, why wouldn't he just leave it on and beat the crap out of him?
It's just funnier to imagine him taking it off.
Yeah.
Why?
It's
Dude,
just
I want to
funny.
get in a fight with you because you make no sense.
Yeah, but
It's
what if he takes
impractical,
off the
but
metal
it's funny.
arm and then Deathstroke beats him with his own metal arm?
See?
That's just disrespectful.
Yeah. Way to go, gun owner.
Way to go, gun owner. No, well, I think you both landed on Winter Soldier, and I think I would have to go with that as well. I do want to see what people in the comments think about this, because I just feel like there's some discussion here. But
and I will say, I think this is probably the most, in my mind, even matched ones we've had. Where I was like, dude, I don't know. Criticism versus a reality situation. Like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, but yeah, I think in the end we're going Bucky. On Nerd Alert unanimously has gone Bucky. So yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments, and if you have any you want us to discuss, let us know.